there. Welcome to Let's Be Whole. My name is Cleopatra J, aka Nina Womack. We have a very exciting show lined up for you today on Let's Be Whole. I'd like to introduce my co-host and our guest for today first. We have
Son, say unity now.
All right. And we have the fabulous Gerda Govine, who is our Queen Mother spoken word healer today. So we look forward to hearing some wonderful information from her. And then also we have Misty Powell, who is a yoga instructor, a spiritual guru. She's here to bring some empowering words of encouragement. We also have Tuesday Connor, who we'll hear from a little bit later, and the Oracle. Their group is called Royal Queens United. They are really, really empowering women, so we look forward to hearing from them as well. Our topic today is called How to Build Your Queendom, Honoring Your Royalty from Within. But before we do that, I want to talk about a project that the Let's Be Whole show is involved in. It's called Operation Hydration. Mm-hmm. And what it is we have decided to go out this summer and hydrate homeless people in Los Angeles. This is one of the hottest summers that the U.S. has experienced on an average since the 1800s. Like, this has been the hottest time. And those who are unfortunate don't have access to water. So what we've been doing is going out and giving out water to the homeless, and we've been videotaping it into a documentary to encourage other people to go out and do the same. So before we get to our show about becoming royalty, I want to run this clip so you guys can see what Operation Hydration is about.
Get out here and help the homeless, because they are part of us, no different than us. We're all the same here. That's what we're doing today. Just showing love, showing concern, and showing that we're spirit, they're spirit, and let's join our spirituality together. That's what we're going to do. Let's be whole. Let's be whole. And we're going to bring our part into it for we all to be whole. So let's be whole.
Amen. Amen.
Did you know? How did you know? You're not always visible to everyone.
I'm psychic.
My name is Mel Taylor. I'm a religious science practitioner here at Guidance Church. Been here for 24 years. Golly. We started this outreach, it's been almost 10, 12 years, something like that.
Hi, I'm Irene. Hi, I'm Helen.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
This is a ministry, the outreach ministry that was established in 2006. What we do is to serve the downtown homeless. And we do this every third Thursday of the month. And we provide sandwiches, chips, fruit, water, and desserts. And we take it down to the homeless, and I mean, they're so appreciative, and we just love doing it.
I want to do my part and help people who are less fortunate than me. You can get out here and do the same thing. You got to change the image with our law enforcement and just people think about us. People racially profile us and think that we're terrible people, but we're really not. We can do the same thing that other people do. We can do this.
Coming down to the street, you see all type of people. Now, they might be homeless, but you can look in their eyes and almost see their different experiences. Some people are seen to be well dressed. Some people are just, and articulated in their communication with you. Some people have more difficulty, but it's all the different experiences. So, I like I said before, just get involved.
The lunch is over there. We're giving them out there. God bless you guys. Do we have any soap left? Soap. You got water? Yeah. There you go. God bless. Yes. There you go. God bless.
The point that he made, he was passionate. He said, we never can have enough water.
No, we never can. We bathe in it. A lot of us are homeless. We drink it. We use it to take our baths. We wash up in it. And we got old ladies and old men that need it out here all the time. We help them out. So we can never have enough water. Water is a big necessity down here because we use it for everything. We bathe and wash our clothes in it too. Sometimes we don't have money to go to washing machine. We take about 10 bottles and dump it in the bucket and wash our clothes with it, take baths with it. We drink it, everything. So we can never have enough water. Water is very much needed down here. Very bad.
Wow. Let's look at some of the life that they live in back there. These are some of this is LA's real estate. This is LA's real estate. This is what we're in America. This is got by root. They root, yeah.
We got more water. There we go.
Bunches of line there. Stand in line to get the water.
Who needed socks? Well, this concludes our journey, Operation Hydration H2O. We came out of Skid Row today, and it was a success, right?
It was absolutely successful. It's a very hot day here in LA, not the hottest that we've had, but it's about 91 degrees. I'm thirsty. I'm ready to get some water.
And it was a great experience. Because sometimes, like I said before, we come down and we really think homeless, but you'll find yourself, by coming to see the homeless, you'll find your spirit coming down here and just looking at the different life. Then you can go back home and look how appreciative. Do you think you're having a bad day? Come down to Skid Row.
Let's be whole, mind, body, and soul.
Peace. We love you. We love you.
So that was it, you guys. That was Operation Hydration. And it was such an honor to just go out and work with the homeless and to know that we were able to fulfill a need. I feel like that's part of our royal queenship is to go out and become nurturers and give to others, you know. Before we start off with our first guest, the topic that we're addressing is the how to build your queendom, honoring your royalty from within. And so I just wanted to start off with my point of view is through research, the history that I've done at one point, way a long time ago, we were more of a matriarchal society and not so much of a patriarchal society, meaning that the woman, the feminine, the divine feminine was revered, was respected, was appreciated for our wisdom, for our contribution to creating society. But some point in our history, which it began around the time of the ancient, when the Hebrews took over, it became a very patriarchal society where the woman was subjected to the man, and we were meant to feel ashamed that we did something wrong, that we're inherently sinful and shouldn't speak and should not be empowered. And so it's caused so many things over the years, such as women abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse that we've endured. And so now I think we are coming into a consciousness of understanding our power again, tapping back into our divinity and our royalty, and understanding that we are co-creators in this universe. And so I just want us to all chime in on that.
Yeah, I think we're coming back more into balance. I think the divine feminine has to balance out what has been going on for over 2,000 years with the patriarchy. And so I think that all starts from loving ourselves as women, and we can see the divine in each one of us. And I think it's also recognizing that divine, because we are the creators. We give birth to babies, so we need to honor that, and we need to honor that in each other. And I think women are going to change the world, and I think the time is now. So, so queens, get ready.
And, scientifically speaking, women are 60% greater than men. overall. So with this world moving in such an expansive, movement of consciousness, we are waking up. And even via social media, all this technology that we have right now, women are having more access to information, especially, African American women of all cultures. They're starting to see, no, I am my own greatness. It's time to wake up, ladies.
Yes, time to wake up.
And I just wanted to add something to that. I think what's really important for women in their queendom is to be able to have a voice and to be able to speak in their own voice about their own experiences. And also, as part of that voice, to dig deep into the well we all have inside to begin to bring out the things that have been waiting for us, waiting for us to acknowledge. And it will show up because it always does. So having a voice, being able to speak, being able to write is really important, because when you're voiceless, you're invisible. And queens don't play invisibility.
Right?
That's right.
Off with your head. Exactly. So tell us, Gerda, like how, what you said was so wonderful and eloquently put about having a voice, our need to have a voice. I know that's very hard for many women because, again, we were brainwashed that our voice was not important and was not to be heard. So we are conditioned, whether you realize it or not, to not be vocal and understand who we truly are. So how do you get to that place of having a voice?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. I want to tell you a quick story. I taught at a summer program in Venice one year. It was this girl, she was about maybe 16, and she was always in fights. She would beat people up. And she was in my class, so one day I took her aside and I said, "Why do you fight? Why do you fight?" She was very uncomfortable. She was squirming. And she said, "Because I don't know what words to use." So, and found out she couldn't read. So that was a way of keeping people out. And then she was able to get that help to be able to find your voice. When you have a voice, physicality isn't even an option, because your words can set you free. Your words can create new worlds and new opportunities. And I also think that being proud of your voice and not let anyone make you silent unless you want to be silent for yourself.
Wow.
So that's a key piece.
Wow.
It really, really is.
It sure is.
That's profound, yeah.
Very profound.
And I think with that, with having the voice, you have to somehow get the courage and understand that it's okay. It's okay to have your voice, and it's okay to speak, and so I think that's like very important, is to fight through that fear. Each little step that we take, we can conquer a bigger fear and a bigger fear. So if you're afraid to have your voice, conquer it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that comes as more women speak their truth, then we are examples, and that's where we draw our support from each other. And so I think being a good example and being courageous to speak your truth is exactly what you said, is profound as well.
Exactly.
Some of the tools that we can incorporate in our lives is, for one, meditation. Just quieting that mind, allowing the spirit to speak. We are suffering from frustrations of spirit, and spirit is wanting to come forth, but we must first surrender to that knowing. So meditation is a really good practice. Another way is yoga, breath work, just allowing yourself to be still in the moment about 5 minutes a day, sitting in a chair or just laying down and just taking long, deep breaths. Focusing on that throat chakra, giving yourself positive affirmations, let me speak clear, allow the spirit to speak through me, allow my light to shine through me, and you will get that. Eventually, as the mind thinketh, so the mind reacts to it. It's like whatever you're feeding into that subconscious is going to eventually show itself in your consciousness.
So be aware of your thoughts.
Yes.
Because I see our thoughts as like raindrops, And if we're thinking negative thoughts, those raindrops can eventually drown us. So if we have positive thoughts, then we'll be floating on a beautiful ocean. So I think it's being very conscious of
exactly. And I think that a lot of people find it hard really to meditate. That takes a discipline that you can probably expound on a little bit more, but we get so busy, we stay busy with work and kids and life that it's very difficult just to take a 5-minute break, like you said. So how can someone start?
For me, when I first started doing meditation, my mind was so busy that I just had to get up. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't it. So then I started using the affirmation with my breath. I would inhale and say, let the incoming be truly the will of God. I would exhale, release, and surrender. Inhale, let the incoming be truly the will of God. Exhale, release, and surrender. And I started feeling myself like just rid myself of pain, frustration, dis-ease in the body. I began to feel my shoulders just get relaxed. And also, too, as women, we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders.
Sure do.
And it's because of the relationships that we encounter. And also, too, sometimes those secret chambers of your mind, they reveal themselves in your relationships. You think that, oh, you're hiding it. No, you're not. It's just revealing it to you. Then you realize, okay, this relationship didn't work out, or that relationship didn't work out. Because all it is just mirroring every thought process that's going through your head. So it's like, be very mindful of those thoughts. So that inhale, let the incoming be truly the will of God. You're surrendering your push against the natural forces of your life. And as you begin to just release and surrender, things move into a divine flow. And that's what you want. You want a divine flow in your life. Things don't have to be hard and complicated. You will go through trials in your life. I mean, if we all had just a paradise, we'll all be floating around here, but it's like, it's through those trials that makes us stronger. We develop that heart chakra. We get the strength about us. We get the gift of discernment, and in the same sense, we get our voice, How can you teach somebody else something if you have not been through anything? How can you connect with them if you don't feel what they're going through? It's a feeling. And once you connect to it, you got them. You can change. You can create that change for the next person.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to add something to this that's really important. It's important that we connect with our ancestors. For me, my ancestors are there. People that I loved who are not with us physically are there. So what the connection with your ancestors does, it puts everything within context. And sometimes I talk to them, they talk to me, but it's also about honoring those queens that have come before you and knowing that they're here to help and protect you. Because being connected to your ancestors where you can speak and breathe their breath is also a way of learning how to keep yourself safe within the context of your life. And I'm not talking about being scared, just to be aware of what's getting ready to hit even before it hits, because you feel, you might even dream about it. So it's about being able to take all of the ancestral gold and to mine it whenever you need to, because they're there for you. And as you open up to them, you open up more. So that's been something that's been very, very important for me, to feel that they have my back, to be honest. Yeah,
it's important for sure.
Yeah,
exactly. And very well said. And I think it's important too that we, take time out to honor ourselves and our bodies. Like Misty said, meditate. Go out on a yoga retreat, do a day spa, something just to relax and rejuvenate, to understand that, hey, you're a queen and you deserve to relax and be in a positive state of mind. So we have to take that time out for ourselves. Too many times we're out there as queens, taking care of family, taking care of our spouses or our loved ones, our friends, and we just give so much that we don't take time out for ourselves. So part of understanding your royalty and your divinity is taking time out. Let's talk about a poem. So speaking of writing and your voice, let's talk about your poetry. Gerda wrote a fabulous book. Well, she's a poet, and she'll get into her bio, but this one is called The Future Awakes in the Mouth of Now, that she recently wrote. So can you elaborate on it more?
Yeah, one of the things that helps me to stay sane and balanced is the ability to write. And I write what I call organically. I don't know what I'm going to write. I don't know what I'm going to write. But once I sit down, the words just spill over onto the page. And I trust that. I never get tired of, well, I didn't write yesterday. It doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere. And so this is my third book. And I didn't know I was a poet, because I've written, articles and I've done a lot of other things. But the words found me when I needed for them to find me. Mm-hmm. And I found the words after one of my daughters passed away. And that was my sanity. That was my connectedness to life. So I wasn't in a place where I lost my balance. The words kept me anchored. And I find that a lot of what I write about are things that have been waiting because the way they appear, they've been waiting for me to say, okay. And it's also allowed me to breathe better. And when I do that, then the words themselves begin to breathe. The other part of when I write, I don't use any punctuations. I use space on the page, and I use pauses when I read, because I want my words to breathe. I don't want it to hiccup over a comma or a period or whatever. And that's something that came to me organically. It's not anything I planned. And so I've been writing now since 2010. This is my third book that was just published in Paris, France. Nice. And the first time it was published by a publisher, the first two my husband and I self-published. And I said, I'm going to use this third book as a test to see if there's a publisher out there. So I gave myself a year. Once I got connected with the publisher through my friend, the book was on my front step 1 month to the day that the publisher got in touch with me. Wow. My head is still spinning, okay? Because it's not supposed to happen like that. But for me, the words, he said, I love your words, I want to work with you. Oh, nice. And I like to read a couple of poems. Speaking about ancestors, and I usually write in English, and I've had some work translated into Spanish. And the way I'm reading this poem is exactly how it showed up. Las mujeres. Mothers watch daughters who listen with their eyes, whose voices bloom. They flower between raindrops, weave their lives inside dreams with grandmother's breath. Future awakes in mouth of now.
That's beautiful.
And I want to read one other, and it has to do with, usually in a culture, if there's no word for something, it means it's either not important or it's too horrible to think about. And in the English language, there's no word for a mother whose children die before she does. And so, and this is about mothers who have lost their children or whose children have died, because there's no word to describe it in any language based on my research. Mothers who carry their own water. When there is no well, land is parched, mouth dusty, skin cracked. Bloody fingers plant thornless roses. Mothers who carry their own water are viewed with discomfort. Curtains of words fall. I don't know what to say. Time heals all. Whispers trail behind like tales, a reminder of what could happen to them. Mothers who carry their own water live through, in, under, around the death of their children. How? They never ask why. Lean on winds of change. Find warmth in cold places. Push through survival to thrive. Move beyond black and white. Traverse shades of gray. Refuse to stay stuck in grave. Dig deep for a well inside.
Wow.
That was moving.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was.
Extremely.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Wow.
And I also believe, as queens, one of the responsibilities we have is to give back. Without even thinking about it, we give back. We give back of our gifts, we give back of our talents, because other people gave back to us. So that connectedness to giving back, to sharing, to helping, to supporting, you help to enrich other people, but you also enrich yourself. And to me, that's very, very important.
Exactly. Which is why we started the Operation Hydration with giving the water to the homeless. We're going to continue that throughout the summer. So I want to ask you guys if you can donate. Come out and help us on our journey as we pass out water. We'll be doing it up until August 14th. Also, if you could donate a case of water or any kind of money that we can go out and purchase more water, you can email me at letsbewhole@gmail.com, letsbewhole@gmail.com, and I can give you a PayPal link that we have. You're so right. Our duty as queens, as royalty, is to help other people as well. And we'll talk more about that. So right now we're going to take a break, and we'll go in and hear more about how to be royalty.
Marius told his tale by the time of Olveros, the tale of a king and a queen.
Right, and welcome back to the Let's Be Whole show. I am Cleopatra J. We're here with my co-host, Miss
Sun, say Unity Now.
And our wonderful Queen Mother Poet,
Gerda Govine.
Yeah, and fabulous Misty Powell. So also, before we get started back to how to be a queen, what's going on with your latest projects? Where can we find you, Gerda?
Yes, I have it's called Poetry Within Reach series. It's in Pasadena, and it's the next 4 Wednesdays, July 27th, August 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. I have pulled together 8 poets who are either work or live in Pasadena, and they will be reading their work and also talking about how Pasadena, living in Pasadena or working in Pasadena, has impacted their lives. And so for each of those there's going to be 2 poets, and each of the 2 poets among themselves will decide how they want to read and perform. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm not telling them what to read, because that's not the style. So we're doing that, and this is part of a NEA grant that the city of Pasadena received, and this is the first time the city has ever funded an individual poet to do a series like this in Pasadena.
Nice.
So I'm very, very excited, and you're going to be hearing more. And then my husband christened the group the Pasadena Rose Poets. So you're going to be hearing that a lot. And so hopefully you can come. For info, you can call 626-484-0740, and it's at noontime at the Pasadena Senior Center at 85 East Holly Street. So come on down. I'd love to see all of you and make this kind of a landmark situation where it's something that the city will remember forever.
Oh, for sure. I'll be there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, yes, so to get back on to the topic of becoming royalty and how to be a queen, we have to understand that coming from a patriarchal society, that we were painted in as women, we were painted in a very negative view. And that has trickled over into today's society, where, as we see on music videos, we are depicted as nothing more than sex objects. We're addressed as bitches and hoes and stuff like that. So I am here to help remind us that we are truly divine and we deserve respect. It's not cool for anybody to address us, in my opinion, as a bitch. Don't come to me and call me a bitch, because that's not a good term that I laugh at, that I joke with. I don't call my girlfriends bitches. It's very disrespectful. We're not female dogs. So I just want to remind everybody of that we're queens and we're royal, and we deserve that kind of treatment. Yeah. So let's get to you, Misty. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you came about doing what you're doing, empowering women.
Okay, so I moved here from Louisiana. And when I got here, they say the city of angels. I was with a young man, and he started, presenting certain concepts and movies to me, hidden colors, the Egyptian culture, all of that. And so I started going into a deep research with it. And with that process, I started to unfold, my inner queen. And lo and behold, I started to elevate up. And it became a imbalance situation. So I had to remove myself and also free myself. And with that, it was such a beautiful breakup. I got introduced to Kundalini Yoga. And with Kundalini Yoga, you work a lot with the pranayama breath flow. You begin to activate your serpent power, and that's just aligning all of the chakras. And for me, it allowed me the ability to start operating and connecting and communicating through my crown chakra. And from there, I started to go deeper, because this queendom is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. Mm-hmm. And as Lady Guinevere would say, you enjoy the journey. You enjoy the laughs. You enjoy the cries. You enjoy the lessons. You enjoy it all. And even from there, I started to go a little bit deeper, because you have to constantly dig. Mm-hmm. Like she said, an infinite well. Mm-hmm. And it's like in this queendom, there is a infinite, spirit. It's ever expanding, ever encompassing, and you can just possess the totality of it. Mm-hmm. And you just begin to just blossom like the lotus that you are. Mm-hmm. So I started connecting to my womb, and I call it the womb chakra. You know, we hold a lot in that womb from past experiences, abuse, you know, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, all of it. We hold a lot in it. And we have to know how to connect to that and keep that womb chakra clear. Keep the womb chakra free from weight. Keep the womb chakra free from free radicals. You know, what you take in, you are what you eat. You are what you drink. All of that is still seeping into the body, seeping into the womb. Also, too, the children. Your children are still connected to you. I call it an invisible umbilical cord because sometimes you'll find your children going through some of the same situations. And I work a lot with youth. And so I see different situations where the mother has gone through something and she hasn't quite revealed that to the daughter. And then she realizes that the daughter is going through the same thing that she went through. And I have to tell the parents, you are human. You have to express this to your girls. They have to develop that substance about them. They also have to see that mommy is human. Mommy made mistakes in life. Let me address these mistakes to you. Let me show you how I overcame them. Let me show you, you know, the woman that I desire you to be. I'm not trying to force you into anything, but let me just present to you some sacred tools that would allow you to just, you know, bypass some of those roadblocks along the way, because we all have this path in life. You can either go down this straight, narrow path, or you can curve around it. But no matter how you enjoy this journey, you're still going to get to your divine destination.
So true, so true.
So you enjoy it, but connecting to that womb chakra, once again, sitting with yourself, holding on to your sacred space, you know, breathing deep, closing your eyes, focusing on that middle point, and just begin to feel the rhythm of your body. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat. Free the space from pain. Free the space from frustration. Free the space from heartache. Free the space from mistreatment. Free the space from being taken advantage of. Because we hold that and we don't need it. It serves no purpose for our future. It serves no purpose for our family, for our mates. All it is just extra weight. But we want to free up. We have to. And in terms freeing up, you heal up. You are raising the frequency. You're raising your vibration. But it is a inner working. You know, continue to learn yourself. Part of it, okay? It's okay to learn your astrology sign. It's okay to learn the cosmos. It's okay to learn the stars. In learning that, you learn more about yourself. Tap into this information. Tap into the infinite intelligence. Tap into the infinite knowledge. It is there. It is available. And even when you start to open up your mind to it, your ancestors direct you. So all the information that you need, they lay it out for you. Here it is, so you choose to accept.
Exactly.
But you have to be willing to expand your spirit. You have to be open to it. You know, it's not something that you want to be scared about, because spirit is free. It doesn't cost a thing. It only requires you to release. That's it. But, you know, just tap into that. Learn more about yourself. Go within yourself, you know.
That's one thing that I think is that you hit that really needs to be emphasized, is going within yourself and tapping into yourself. Some of the tools, such as writing, like Gerda said, just to share briefly about my past experience. I come from childhood sexual abuse, physical abuse too, so I did not know how to have a voice. And a lot of the times over the years, men would say things or do things to me that I just accepted and didn't know how to say, hey, I don't want you to touch me like that. I don't appreciate your comments. I didn't know how to carry myself with respect because of the past trauma that I went through. So there's been tools that I've had to use over the years, such as writing in the journal, getting all that stuff out. I have notebooks that I still have in boxes of the most foul words about myself that you can imagine, how much I hated myself. But I had to get all that junk out. And over the years, as I healed, all that negative writing started to become more and more positive and more positive, until I got to a point where I could really create and write words of beauty and so forth. But it started by just getting out all that junk and learning that it's okay for me to have a voice. It's okay to say no. It's okay to assert my power, my queendom.
Yes.
So,
I think you brought up being creative in your writing. I think it's women being creative in whatever we do will help us to heal and to grow. Whether it be cooking, I'm a visual artist, so it's with painting or with materials, and it could be with aromatherapy, it could be with scents, herbs, all the nature's here. Mother Nature, the divine feminine Mother Nature is here, and we have provided everything that we need. So we don't have to go outside of ourselves, because we are part and parcel of nature, of her. And so I think it's making that connection and being creative. I think that's who we are as human beings, and especially as women, is to be creative.
To be creative, as queens. Yes. And that is even, a very important proverb in the Bible, Proverbs 31, about the virtuous woman. Those are some of the qualities that, to me, she was a queen, because she got up in the morning, she made things with her hands, and she goes out and she sells them, and she takes care of her family, and she looks after the poor. That's the definition of a virtuous woman or a royal woman. So these women here, each one of them, including myself, are queens. We're ambitious. We're go-getters. We make things happen. We'll also have Tuesday Connor and Denise Cook, the Oracle, on shortly, talking about more female empowerment, how you can discover your own voice, how you can create, how you can get into business for yourself. So this is a time to start running your queendom. Of course, we don't ostracize men, so there's the kingdom too, and the goal is to bridge it all together. So like you said, we have balance. Balance is very important. But if it's just all patriarch and, women are down here, then the world is not balanced and things don't operate healthy.
Right.
Could I make a quick comment? One of the things that I've learned as I've gotten more seasoned is that, they talk about your body being a temple in terms of what you do inside, but also what you do outside. I treat my body as a precious gift, as a canvas. So before I leave my house, I know exactly what I'm going to wear, how it's going to make me feel, because we can really stay in queendom when we dress ourselves like a queen. And I don't mean dressed up, but you know what I'm talking about, where we're using the right colors, the right styles, the right length, whatever it is, because if we disrespect ourselves in terms of how we dress, the queen shrinks. She shrinks and eventually disappears. So if you step out of your house, out of your car, and you're looking like $1 million, and I'm not talking about having a dress that costs $300, okay? They're resale shops, okay? So right. Really about how you enter your day, how you enter a room, how you enter a conversation, all of that, so that queen thread is a very important, strong part of your life's tapestry.
So I think it's being conscious, making conscious choices.
Exactly.
And when you're conscious of the color of earrings that you put on, those were your choices.
Exactly.
It came from within.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
So then that's how you will be accepted or brought in exterior. That's the way you will be greeted by others.
Yes, you carry that vibration, those colors, oranges, appealing to your chakra, that blue, it opens up the line of communication. White, wearing that white is just so purifying. Purple, walking into a room and seeing somebody with purple on is just regal, So yes, indeed, incorporating more herbs and fragrances, frankincense, myrrh, patchouli.
That's what Cleopatra
lavender.
used, right?
Yes, she did.
Yes. Lavender. Here's my lavender. This is my spray that I have is fresh lavender oil that I sell. Would you like some?
Sure, thank you.
Yep, lavender. This is what Cleopatra put on her skin. And all the royals.
Oh, it smells.
Yes.
What's some?
And last thing too for me, spray some of that lavender on. Ooh, yes.
Good in here.
Yeah, it smells great.
Very calming.
A good ritual. I do it monthly for me. I'll go to the beach and I'll write a letter to my womb. And everything that I experienced in that month, I would write it out. Sometimes things come up from my past that I have not yet extracted out of me, and I'll just let it flow. And I'll release that letter to Mother Waters.
Nice.
And I'll still use that affirmation through release and surrender. Let the incoming be truly the will of God. And with doing that, if the sun is shining, I'll sit just quietly, listen to the waves, and sun gaze. And it offers up so much clarity for me.
Yes. Well, and all the spiritual gurus, from what I've read, they had to go off and, meditate and go to the mountains. It seemed like when you got your moment of enlightenment is every spiritual guru was retreating somewhere and in silence and in meditation mode.
Going in within.
Yeah, going within.
And going within and getting in touch with the divine.
Exactly.
It's an inside job.
And it's no joke. It's an inside job.
That's right.
And I think, too, that the more we begin to respect ourselves as women and understand that we are queens, that then we become in touch with Mother Earth and respecting Mother Earth more and how nature works. Do you guys agree? I feel like,
Yes.
Well, I think with the respect for ourselves, there's a responsibility. And in a responsibility to take care of ourselves. I mean, everything from sleep, food, hydration, what we put on and in our bodies, our spiritual practices, I think are vitally important. I mean, what I think this show has made me remember is to pray over your food. How simple is that? To give thanks for the food. And I haven't done it in years. I used to do it all the time. Just, thank Mother Earth for providing the food, Father, Son for shining on, giving the sunshine to these plants. But then with that gratitude, you ingest all that gratitude.
Yes.
And I think, so I'm glad that I'm part of the show because I got back in touch with myself.
A mystical moment for me, you said, tapping into Mother Nature. And I feel like my ancestors are allowing me to open my ears in a deeper dimension. One thing, prime example, my brother just came into town. And it's been this bird just chirping outside of my window. And it just wouldn't stop for like the last 3 days. I started doing some research on birds. And this particular bird, it's like a mystical story where when the universe or nature knows that you're having company, a bird would sit outside your window and chirp and chirp and chirp. And my brother just surprised me 3 days ago and said, "Oh, I'm coming. Pick me up from the airport at 8 o'clock. And I woke up this morning and the bird was just chirping away. And so when we got back to the house, the bird was gone.
Perfect.
I think it's all about paying attention.
Yes.
It's just being aware.
Exactly.
Attention, because universe is speaking. Yeah, that's beautiful.
So true. So what are some of the other ways do you think people can discover their royalty? Would you ladies say?
I think another way is, and you had mentioned that earlier, is to learn to love silence and quiet. And some people run from that. They're so busy. There's no way for them to even slow down their breathing. And sometimes I have what I call pajama days, where I stay in my pajamas. I don't answer the phone unless it's an emergency. And sometimes I'll take a nap, sometimes I'll write, sometimes I'll watch a stupid movie. Whatever it is, it's just that I want to be quiet. And I had a birthday in April, and my husband kept saying, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" I said, "I just want to relax. I don't want to take a trip. I don't want to do anything." So he said, "Why don't you come with me to my studio?" My husband's an artist. So we spent the day together in his studio. He was painting and I was writing. Then after that, about 6 o'clock, we went to one of our favorite restaurants, had a nice meal, and then came home and had some cake that he had bought. That was it. I was so happy. You would have thought I won like $1 million because I just wanted to be quiet and to breathe and to just let the day unfurl. You know, because there's been a birthday, there's been going away for the week. That was not what I wanted. But you also have to know what you want and how to make it happen.
Yes.
You have to know what you want and need.
Yes.
So you can allow the unfolding.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
And that comes back to self-love.
Exactly.
Like really
Yes.
loving yourself.
Exactly.
And, you know, I'll give you this story too, my vision board.
Oh, yeah.
My vision board, I was surrounded, I put a picture of Maya Angelou on there and all of these beautiful queens that have lived such a beautiful life and was, you know, giving of service, giving their sacred jewels to the women that needed it. They put it out there in the world. And as I look around the room today, all I could think about was the picture on my vision board. I'm like, I have manifested sitting in a room full of queens, you know, that know. And as young women, this is what we need. Don't be scared to connect to your mentors, your elders, your queens in the community. We have to connect. It is by coming together that we raise the frequency, harvesting, learning how to harvest that energy. And don't throw shade on another queen's, you know, fulfillment in herself, because your crown is your crown and you can only fit your crown.
That's right.
She can't fit your crown. No,
Yes,
she can't,
very
because
well said.
God designed your crown just for you. So what he has for you is for you. Some other tools, herbal baths. I feel like that's so good for the mind, the body, and the spirit. Sometimes I'll just go to the nursery or even to Ralph somewhere, and I'll just go get some sage, some rosemary, some peppermint, and some nice pink Himalayan salt. And I'll go home and I'll run me a nice warm bath. And I'll put lavender oil in there. I'll put all the herbs in it. And I'll just sit and I'll just lay back and just go within. That sacred quietness. Put my pink Himalayan salt just for the purification. And I can just feel the worries drifting away. After that, I wrap myself in a nice clean white linen. I say me a nice prayer or affirmation and I lay it down. Sometimes I'll have these beautiful dreams. When I wake up, I write it down. Write your dreams down. Write your thoughts down.
Right.
Write it out.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Right.
Right.
Right, right.
If you guys are local, Misty teaches yoga. I've been wanting to take her class for like 4 or 5 months now. But can you talk about where they can...
I'm at Crenshaw Yoga and Dance. It's right off 5426. We're starting a new genre here in Los Angeles. It's called Afro Yoga Flow. And so what you're doing is you're getting 3 gifts in one. In the beginning, I'll open you up to a little bit of Kundalini Yoga, the pranayama breath flow. But we're still moving to the African movements, opening up the lung capacity. A lot of people don't know that the lungs, they drop all the way down to the cradle of the core, but we only use 1/3 of our lung capacity. But with all this smoke, we just had a fire out in the valley, all of that's going on, we're holding a lot of toxins within that chest. So we want to make sure that we keep the lung capacity expanded. In terms, it keeps the nervous system activated. It gives fresh blood to the brain. So the second portion of it is African movements. I'll introduce you to some beautiful West African movements, Senegalese movements, all of the sorts. And then the third, I go into Egyptian yoga flow.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Can you say a little bit about that? What is Egyptian yoga flow?
The Egyptian yoga flow, that's one of the very first yogas invented. The ancient Kemetic Kushites. You know, they would wake up in the morning to this style of yoga. And some of the styles, they resemble hatha, but it's a very structural, formation with them. And that's how they were able to stay so lean. One of the movements that they would do is like a hail to themselves. But in terms, this is activating the kundalini at the back. It's activating the hips, it's activating the back, activating the wings of the back, and they would chant Wu Bin, Wu Bin, Wu Bin. And in this, Wu Bin means to rise. They would chant to that all-encompassing sun, soaking up that energy, soaking up that clarity, Another movement we call Shu. And Shu, you just put your arms out, open up the lung capacity. Right there, you're sending all of that oxygen through the blood. And Shu means air.
Shu?
Air,
just
Shu.
Air, Shu. Yes, S-H-U, Shu. And just going deep with the breath. Exhaling. You're allowing that air to flow through the entire frequency of the body. Mm-hmm. It is so beautiful. And when you go through this Egyptian yoga sequence, you feel it afterwards. We start with the mommy pose, we end with the mommy pose. And you feel your ancestors hugging you as you hug yourself. It is beautiful.
If you guys don't know, Kundalini simply means energy. I think it was from Hindu, right? It started with the Asians.
Well, it started with Egyptians.
Well,
they had
Kemetic yoga, because we talked about that. But I'm saying the term Kundalini is based in Hindu.
Yes.
With the Indian type of yoga. But
to rise,
which means to rise. But if you guys don't know, is historically they're saying that Kemetic yoga, Egyptian yoga was like that started first, and then as man migrated into other areas, then yoga branched off, so we have the Hindus and this form of yoga and so forth, but it originally started in ancient Kemet, which was Egypt. Yeah, so we all borrow from each other. That's the wonderful thing about cultures and time is we get to borrow knowledge and art forms from each other. So so I'm going to study with Misty, most definitely.
Where can we find you again?
I'm Crenshaw Yoga and Dance.
Okay.
So it's 5426 Crenshaw. It's right next door to the gym, Black Diamond's gym.
And I think that was like probably Cleopatra. Queen Cleopatra was practicing some Kemetic yoga.
Yes, she was.
We know she was using lavender and all the wonderful herbs like frankincense.
Yeah. Well, so was Nefertiti, I'm sure.
Nefertiti.
Beautiful queen.
Exactly. So we are going to take a break and then go to our wonderful upcoming guest to discuss how we can be queens. All right. And we'll be right back. Let's be whole.
Marius told his tale by the time of old Varus, tale of a king and a queen.
Welcome back to the Let's Be Whole show. My name is Nina Womack, aka Cleopatra J, and we have
Monica Marsh.
And we have some wonderful guests. Our next guest, I just wanted to acknowledge Peter John Ross, that music that we just heard from him. So this, thank you, Peter John Ross. But we have Miss Tuesday Connor.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tuesday. We'll get to her bio in a minute, but we also have Denise Cook, the Oracle, also known as the Oracle, right here with us. Tuesday is, gosh, where do we start of her queenship? She does clothes. She has her own clothing line. She's a poet. She's a filmmaker. She's an actress. How many jobs do you have to say?
I just have one now.
Yeah, right. So welcome, Tuesday.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an honor, especially being here today and hearing all the wonderful, beautiful womanhood that just radiates in this room. Beautiful. Thank you so much for what I heard earlier.
Yes. So Tuesday, talk to us about the Royal Queens United, what you and the Oracle are doing.
Royal Queens United started in Leimert Park. The sisters got together and wanted to have a concert and kind of turned it over to me, and so we have been developing our women's social group, as the media calls us. Yes. So we're in development. We started sharing the stage together. That was the initial concept, was to share the stage together, and we've just blossomed since then. Since then, we have an open sister circle. We're having a seminar workshop on August the 12th at the Vision Theater in Los Angeles, and that's an all-day event. You can register at TuesdayConnor.com. And the Open Sister Circle, what we do is we teach you how to turn your God-given trade into talent that actually makes you money, so you can start building your wealth.
Nice.
Because entrepreneurship is the new wave of the future. It's the only thing that's going to save us, is that you have to start branding yourself. You have to start selling yourself and putting together this beautiful package where no one can call you outside of your name, be it Empress, Princess, Queen, Love, Beautiful.
Exactly. I love that.
Okay. So what we're doing is on the August 12th, and this is what we do throughout the year. We even travel to Jamaica. We're taking a children's library to Jamaica. We're following in Nelson Mandela's footsteps.
Wow.
And we're taking a container of books to the Cedella Booker Marley Basic School, as well as the Bob Marley Junior High School, and we are turning them into libraries. And while the libraries are being constructed and built, and the foundation is being grounded, and the Royal Queens will be teaching sewing, crocheting, computer business classes, because what we want people to be able to do is literally bend over, pick up a rock off the ground, turn it into jewelry, whether it be necklaces, earrings, bracelets, as well as the seashells out of the ocean. So therefore, when the tourist can buy products that are authentic Jamaican made, as well as an authentic piece of Jamaica.
Oh, wow.
And so that will bring them money. So we had to bring that right here home, before we make that journey across the ocean. So that's what we'll be doing. And we perform. We welcome sisters of all colors and ages, and we perform once a month at the Leimert Park Art Walk, which is the last Sunday of every month.
Okay.
And Ben Caldwell, who's got the Chaos Network, he just invited us, Poets Jazz House, to return to Leimert Park. So on the last Saturday of every month, you can come hang out with us, and you can take a writer's workshop, as well as get on stage and recite poetry.
That's
nice,
beautiful.
nice. I will definitely be there too
Thank you
for that. So yeah, let's talk about writing, the writing workshop that you guys are doing.
Well, I am a writer. I'm a published author, 2 books. I was speaking earlier.
This is the Oracle, by the way.
I'm the Oracle. Hi, everybody. Speaking of this divine mother poet over there, my initial book was supposed to be a Mommy Dearest Snow White Cinderella tell-all book. And yet when I really sat down to write it, all God gave me was this positive, motivational, inspirational poetry, prose, and song. So I did what Tuesday and the rest of us Royal Queens will hopefully be able to do for other queens, is I took those God-given talents. I took that education that I got at UCLA, and I combined and put them together and utilized the expression of poetry, spoken word, and song to help heal from the ills and aches and atrocities that had befell me as from a childhood all the way through up. Because one of the things that Tuesday had pointed out when we've had our meetings or our discussions is that how could we, as individual females, empower ourselves if we don't have the tools or if we don't have the strength wherein which we must rely on one another. That's where we came from, the Royal Queens United. We lift you up, we support you, and then we give you the tools that you need to do what you want to do. I'm a writer. You may not be. So I'm not going to force you to be a writer, but I can show you how to use writing to release that evil, to release that if you want to give it a word, a badness that's inside, or the
bottled up hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I can show you tips using writing techniques to help release that, because that's what I had to do. I didn't have a psychiatrist, couldn't afford a psychologist, and all I had was
black people go see psychiatrists.
Not really.
So I did use writing, and so when Tuesday asked me to be a part of the Royal Queens United Open Sister Circle, and specifically to do the writing workshop, I was like, yeah, because I have a workshop. I've been doing it since, I think, 2008. It's called the Oracle Self-Love Workshop. Or self-love writing workshop, utilizing different skills and writing techniques, because when I was a kid, sometimes all I had was that journal. You spoke about writing all the ugliness and what have you. The thing is, there was so much ugliness, and my mother would seek out my my journal, and a lot of the ugliness was about the stuff she was doing to me, whatever. And she would rip my journals up, and I'd get hit again or beat or whatever, because she didn't like the content. So for many years, I stopped writing until I got to college. You got to write in college. Essays, theses, term papers, the whole nine. And I was able, and I was in an abusive relationship at the time while I was at UCLA, 7.5 years, a guy beating me up, but it wasn't every day like it was at home, so I was cool. I thought I was. The young lady who was on earlier, Misty, she says that sometimes you just have to go inside, and that's really what I ended up doing, is having to go inside, slow down all the chitch, all the energy that was going in here, and a lot of the energy that was going in here, and then put it to paper. Oh, girl, freedom.
I'd like to say that both the Oracle's energy and my energy are such on a frequency that at a very young age, we started really loving ourselves, letting go of the negative energies and finding the wonderful aspects of us, and not letting all the ugliness in the world affect how we lived our lives and the energy we gave out. I know personally, I listened to Carole King's a song called Beautiful from the time I was 12 years old, and now I'm singing it, all the time, and I realize that I lived my entire life with Carole King's words etched in my head. You've got to get up every morning with a smile on your face and show the world all the love in your heart. People are going to treat you better. You're going to find, yes, you will, that you're beautiful as you feel. And we wake up every morning feeling like that. Oh, yeah. And bad things and ugly things happen to us. Please believe me. But I cannot let it affect my day. What I do is I take you can have 5 minutes of my time, and then I got to move on, okay? You can have a half a day of my time, but I got to go. I don't even care if it's a funeral or a death. You get this amount of time, but then I got to go.
You have to allow for life. I was just sharing with the ladies earlier, life isn't fair. Life isn't unfair. It just is. And it's how you choose to live it that determines the outcomes. And that goes in part and parcel with the choices you make and the those interferences that we allow in our lives from other people adding on. Okay. Well, I had a visitation from the lady in the blue white light. I was 8 years old, and she visited me on 3 occasions. The first occasion is the only time that I recall actually having dialogue with her, and she said that I had God's own heart, that I was here for a purpose, and she said I could ask her anything, and I only had 2 questions. The first wasn't even about myself. It was about my sister who had muscular dystrophy and cerebral palsy. And I asked her, how come God took her God-given right to walk away Okay. And the second question is, why me? Why are they doing all those things that they're doing to me? Okay. And her answer for my sister was, God took her right to walk, her God-given right to walk, so that your God-given talents and gifts could be developed and shared with the world. And the answer to the second question is, how can you say you understand if you've not yet yourself experienced life? Sister Misty was talking about that. You gotta live. You must live there in order for there to be a balance, because it's the scale of life. It's always in balance. Sometimes it's just not balanced on your side. You know what I'm saying? It may be more negative than positive today and more positive than negative. Your goal is to keep it balanced, but you must have one with the other.
Yes.
And so what the lady in the blue white light told me is that I would have to experience a multitude of events in my life, to my person, my physicality, my spirituality, simply because then and only then would I be able to reach out and I have an answer for you. I have a suggestion for you. I have a solution for you. Simply because I've actually experienced them and I've survived. I'm here. Oh my God. I was sharing. I don't want to take up all the time, but I did want to share this one thing here with you, Nita. This is part of the writing workshop, and I really want to share this because it makes so much sense. And I had meant to be prepared and everything, but hey, there you go. Alrighty, it says here. You may be in pain, but you are here in pain while in pain. You may be living in joy, and you are here to share that joy. You may be suffering in a way only God can handle it, and yet you are here to handle it. You are here at the start of your journey to heal, to forgive, and to love yourself. Past, present, and future, you are here. Now, you know the past, as much of it you can remember. And much of it can't be undone. You are living the present, which you can rewrite by the simple whisk of your hand and a well-placed choice over a poor one. Mm-hmm. And the future is only yours to hope for, prepare for, and look forward to. Right now is what you've got. And then I encourage my participants, it says, now write.
Now.
Write. W-R-I-T-E.
Now right.
Exactly. Now right, just like Gerda's book, Future Awakes in the Mouth of Now.
See, look
now,
at that.
The present is so important. Back to writing, now right. Tuesday is a wonderful poet too, and I would love to have you bless us queens with a poem that you wrote called Black Woman.
What is a black woman?
What is
my
a black
favorites.
woman?
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
Such a powerful piece.
Thank you so much. I was in Leimert Park learning how to play the drums at the world stage. And I found this postcard of this very beautiful woman. Nick was searching for her sisters. I respond to this postcard, and Nick asked me 50 of the most thought-provoking, soul-searching, tear-jerking questions I ever had to think about and answer. And this is my reply to what is a black woman. And I dedicate this to all my sisters, no matter the color of your skin. A black woman is astounding, beautiful, capable, dominant, electrifying, foundation, godsend, heroic, intelligent, juggler, keen, loving, magnetic, natural, original, powerful, queen, rhythm, sexy, transcendent, unmeasurable, valiant, warrior, 10, yummy, zealous. A black woman is everything. A black woman is strong and courageous, the backbone of the African American heritage and family, yet we must endure degradation, sacrifice, humiliation, accept adulteration, be patient.
Wow.
Stand strong when inside we are weak. Be both mother and father when male is meek, constantly seek, for time is coming when the world ain't on my shoulders, and my king, he stands beside me proud. We raise our children the best we can. Little boys are harder, especially when there is no man to stand at his side day after day, leading his path along the righteous way. We do what we have to make ends meet. We do all that we can to stand on our own 2 feet. We lead because we have to. It ain't easy as we pretend, but should my brother take ill, I will be there until the end. We are cultivators and leaders, gratifying, satisfying, sensuous, sensitive, nurturers, leaders, superior, envied, endearingly empty, permanent support, in a world of disarray. Treated like an adversary and talked to like a slave. The strength behind men, recipients of betrayal, and just to keep the peace, we put our emotions in jail. A black woman is my mother, my sister, my friend, my strength, my struggle, my right hand, my left brain, my pillar, my post. The most exceptional women I know are African American queens. We ain't no whores. Stop calling us bitch. Start treating us right, my brothers, unless you just don't care whether a white man or a sister is in my bed tonight. And ain't I all that? Yeah.
Wow.
Powerful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh man, how did that come about?
Probably no. That was I found the postcard. I ended up. I had an assistant. Her name is Nikki, and Nikki was the greatest assistant. My background: I designed costumes in the theater for over 35 years. Nikki was the greatest assistant in the world, and Nikki always wanted to have a poetry lounge. And I couldn't buy a building and, give her what she wanted, but the opportunity came when Colsack started a new theater. My sister was working with them, and she asked, can you bring a little poetry lounge into the little space they have? So I was like, well, I've never done that before. Sure, I could do that. And so we opened up Poets Jazz House, which was named one of the number one poetry lounge in the country.
Wow.
In the country.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I also manage Whacked Out Wednesday. It's a comedy club in the Valley, and it was named one of the top 10 poetry lounges in the country. And so I have a lot of experience producing great shows and giving people what they need and helping people out. I know when I first got the Poetry Lounge together for Nikki, I wanted her to perform, and I told her, but she was really shy. So I said, let's go to the Pan-African Film Festival, because they had a poetry competition or the poetry night. And so I said, let's audition. And so I had to have at least one poem since I was opening up this poetry lounge, and I was blessed to have What is a Black Woman. So that was my one poem when I opened my poetry lounge.
And it's developed into so much more.
It's developed into so much more.
Can you do another one for us?
Sure. I started putting a homework assignment inside our program because when we opened our doors, I remember for 14 weeks I had the same people in the audience 14 weeks straight. But they didn't get on stage. And I realized there was something in their heart that they wanted to say, they just didn't know how to say it. So I put a homework assignment inside our program every week. All you had to do was complete one of three thoughts. You could turn it in and it would be read anonymously. You could turn it in and we would acknowledge that it was you, or you could get on stage and do it yourself. But not doing homework was not an option. And I remember one night after we left out the doors, everybody would hang outside for another 2, 4, 6 hours. I don't know why we didn't stay inside, but they'd just be on the street hanging out.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get up out of here.
No, they really did. And, because Coleman and Smith, they gave us a key, so we didn't have to go home. But when I went outside one night, I locked up the doors and I went outside, and Derek, Sean, my co-host, he had asked about April. He says, how would she know something about like that at such a young age? And the next day, I got up and I pulled out my homework assignment and I did A, when she was young and naive. And it made me think about Derek and April's, just the tail end of the conversation that I heard. When she was young and naive, she didn't know. Daddy said this game was just for two. She didn't tell me she was molested as a child, but I hear in her words, I see something in her smile. She never said Daddy touched her down here, but in her eyes, I see the hurt. And if nobody else does, I care. When you're that young, you don't know what's wrong. The man who's supposed to keep you safe from all harm. Her first boyfriend, her mama's man. Words unspoken can never mend. She never told me she was molested as a child. She hides from herself, fakes a broken smile. Her man only put his mouth on her tiny little lips, creating a sensation she grew accustomed to at 2. She gave him hand service at 4. When she turned 6, Daddy said we could play no more, but it was a 6th grade teacher who needed to be stroked at recess and at lunch. The hands of a child, the stroke of a pro. Inside an elementary classroom. She was 14 when her virginity broke. By 16, she was a sex addict queen. You couldn't turn her off. She was like a wild stallion who wouldn't be bucked. She was 18 before she knew. She was not obligated to give of herself to every man who wanted to screw. It had been taken from her since the age of 2. At 21, she locked down the powers within. At RIU, studied the psychology of men, now commanding them to get on their knees and beg, vowing never to let a man get inside her head. Daddy's little girl, lost in a world of betrayal. He'll never know the intensity of hurt. He'll never feel the empty pain. He'll never know the lack of trust she has in each and every man. It's just a game. Who's the master? Who's the slave? Who's taken for granted? Who says anything? Sex is just a game. She never told me she was molested as a child. She lays down beautiful lyrics, just dodging a broken smile, waiting all the while will he'll become a man. Apologize someday, she hopes, before he is dead. Then she'll be free to fly with the sun. For every robin here, I am sorry. I am so, so sorry for what was done. For right here, right now, it's time. Go now, Robin. Fly on.
That was beautiful. Incredible.
Powerful, powerful.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes.
I think it is very important for us to deal with the hurt and the pain that's inside of us.
We have a caller. Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi, who are we speaking with?
Hi, is this Tuesday?
Hi.
Hi, okay, this is Larita Shelby.
Hi, Larita.
Hi, and so here's the deal. I'm just getting home, just logging on to Facebook. I've only heard a few seconds of your show, but I wanted to call in and congratulate all of you. I'm watching you online, and I wanted to say that you are all so beautiful and lovely. I congratulate you, and I commend you for holding up the true banner of sisterhood. It is so refreshing, especially in a day and age where people are profiting big time, showing how conniving and divisive people can be to one another. I know a world where real love and real sisterhood exist, and I just wish you all the very best. And this is just a call of love and encouragement to say, go, sister, go.
Thank you so much, Miss Larita Shelby. We love you so much. I appreciate you calling.
And she knows about August 12th, right?
Pardon?
On August 12th, our Open Sister Circle. Miss Larita Shelby has all the information. We'll be at the Vision Theater celebrating our sisterhood and our Open Sister Circle.
Hey, Larita, this is Nina Womack. I just wanted to say, you are a queen, too. So, from one queen to another.
Oh, yeah, I can hardly see you. Hey, Nina. Okay, I see you now. But you know what? Don't give me none of that back. I call to love up on all of you guys and to say that sisterhood is real. So I'll get mine later. I just wanted to call in with a word of encouragement to each and every one of you to just stick together and keep on letting your light shine. That's it. That's all.
Thank you. I love you, Rita.
Okay.
Love you, Larita.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye for
Always
now.
remember to love yourself. That's my mantra.
Amen. So as we were, oh my God, this has been so empowering, you guys. We've got about 5 more minutes, but any tips that you feel that women should walk away with so they can learn how to be more queenly? Before you say this, let me just say too that these 2 women here are probably the most positive women that I've ever met. Oracle, she's a great hugger. She's always smiling and just full of love. And Tuesday, too, is just like an energy, a ball full of love. And it's just like, yeah, you guys just exude this queenly love, and we love you for that.
Oh, thank you, Miss
so
Nina.
much.
Well,
So
here's my tip. Go in that most sacred space, the bathroom, because when you close the door, they think you're doing other things, so you have peace and quiet. And that's where I came to my realization, my true self-love. We grow trying to love. There's no such thing as perfect. We're all striving for perfection. You're only as perfect as you strive to be. But one of the things I did is I had to go into the mirror and I had to be honest. And I'm talking about all the whatever, the fat and the wrinkles and the whole nine. But then, remember that balance thing I talked about? I had to listen to that other voice, the voice that said your husband loves you more than you know, and he says yes more than he says no. Your kids like you. I could lose a few, so I'm not missing any meals. Got a roof over my head. I live in Hollywood. Homeless people on the street, and so my number one tip to anybody is go into a space, as Misty said. Find your quiet space. Mine is on the balcony these days. Initially, it was in the bathroom. And be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. There are things you will never tell anybody else, but it's okay to be honest with yourself. And when you can get past that, stair step, everything else becomes a little bit easier. It's always easier said than done.
Sure.
It's always easier said than done. But bottom line, when you love yourself, you are loved 24/7, 365 days of the year. In all your glory and in all your not so glory.
Amen.
Okay, I love myself when I'm not my best self.
Yeah.
You don't stop loving yourself because you have faults or because you trip and fall. I just get up, shake it off. If I'm bleeding, sometimes I am. I have to put a little alcohol. Ooh, that stings. That means you have to be responsible, culpable for your actions, your manner, behavior. I always size it all up into one quote. In all ways, remember to love yourself.
Mm-hmm. We'd like to leave the audience with one challenge. With this, the 30-day challenge.
Aha.
Every morning when you get up,
yes,
make sure you look in the mirror, look directly in your eyes, and say, I love me.
Period.
30 days in a row. If you mess up, start all over again. If you skip a day, start all over again.
I love me. I love me.
I love myself. Me. Yes.
Any last tips, advice you could give, son?
Well, I think a lot of it is all said. It's it is inside, and it is about self-love and caring for yourself, exquisite self-care, which I'm inspired to do a little more of. So I think words of wisdom and laughter and humor is very important for levity and to keep us all smiling. And I think you ladies are really exuding some beautiful energy.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So give them information where they can.
Royal Queens United Open Sister Circle Seminar and Workshop at the Vision Theater, 3341. I believe
West
that's
43rd
West
place.
43rd place. You know where the Vision is. It's right here in Lamert Park. Historic Lamert Park. Registration starts at 8. Doors open at 9. And ladies, gentlemen, we're not turning anybody away. I am telling you, it is a free community service. I look to it as doing service. It was mentioned earlier that we must begin to give back. And this is our way of giving back to our community of women and even our men.
We'll help you heal yourself. We'll help you to stress less. We intend to help you love yourself, help you brand yourself, market yourself, and start making wealth. And this is all for free on August the 12th.
Tell them your website. Spell it out, Tuesday.
You can register at TuesdayConner.com. TuesdayConner.com. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Yes,
remember, we are all queens. You do not deserve to be called lower than anything less than a queen. So keep your head up, keep strong, and build your queendom.